Ever since I was young, I've always been a big music listener, and I would always listen to my dad's Hendrix records and my dad's Led Zeppelin records. He would always force me to listen to them, I guess, because he wanted to listen to them himself. But I always found it. I always appreciated the music as a whole. I appreciated the way that the whole band sounded. But eventually, after about a year and a half of listening to that stuff, it was the guitar that really began to get to me. I'm simply just, inspired and in a way moved by the music of that era. I think primarily it's the fact that back in that era the music was real and sort of raw and pure and more meaningful than it is today. Today, songs, are about girls and skater boys. Back then, the songs told stories. It was about love or heartbreak, or it was about injustice or anything like that. And I think that I'm just attracted to sort of non-formula sounds of that era. Songwriting for me is both intended and random. If I'm inspired by something that I want to write about, I'll just write a song, and it can come naturally. I was visiting my mom in California, and I was so inspired by the ocean that I wrote Seaside Blues and later put it to a guitar track. The album titled Home speaks of sort of the constant journey that humans are going through to get to home. I don't know what home is. I guess home is different for everyone. And in relation to that, California Sunshine is about that searching, and I have a line in that song saying, I feel I'm going to get there someday, and everyone has a there that they're trying to get to. I made the decision to record this record at my house, both out of necessity and desire. My budget was essentially $0, and I had to prove to my dad that I had the desire and the discipline to create my own music. So I was able to fund a Yamaha 8-track digital recording system, and allowed me to mix it a bit and produce it and record tracks over it. And I just found the whole process of recording and mixing and all that just so fascinating. And the record was mastered at the Locker channel. It's a great place. It was done by a guy named George Graves, and the whole time that he was mastering the stuff, he asked me what I wanted it to sound like, and I said, it would be nice if we could pan the stuff this way, or we could have this over here. He gave suggestions, and we sort of really worked on it. They paid attention to what he was doing. Since the album is recorded, I've been writing songs for my second album, and as long as you live a normal life, the songs are always going to be different from album to album. Because, for example, there's a song about the Odyssey on my second album, and when I'd written the first one, I never read the Odyssey. But since the first one, I had to read the Odyssey for school, so I was influenced by that, so I wrote a song about it. Well, I'm also in a band that is four-man band, and we're all heavily influenced by the same classic rock artists that I'm influenced in, and I guess some of the other members are into some new music, but I'm really into the old stuff, and they all appreciate all the old stuff. The band is about letting me work just on guitar, and some people say, well, doesn't it bother you that you're sort of just a left stage man, you're just, sort of in the background, the singer takes all the glory. Well, I like being sort of off to the side, and just when I do a guitar solo, dazzling everybody. But after I started playing guitar, I started taking lessons with my current guitar teacher. His name is Gary Benson, and he's a blues master. He knows really everything you need to know about the scales and theory and all that. I think that having the respect of older, more mature musicians who have been around and paid their dues, I think that having their respect means a lot to me, because if they think that I'm good enough, they're the ones that can spread word about me. The first time that I stepped up to jam with older blues rock players, I was really nervous that they wouldn't accept me because of my age. But if I'm good enough, they'll be accepted, and the age difference vanishes with the first notes. Canadian. I like to be known as starting in Canada because it's Toronto and playing around with blues musicians in Toronto that really got my start. It's I don't want to, completely forget that and say, hey, Los Angeles is great, because Toronto is where it all began. The immediate aspirations for me as a musician right now are to take the music from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and maybe some good 80s music, and spread that to the people of my generation. 10 years from now, I hope to be living and writing in Los Angeles with a band and a solo career. And I want people to say, Luke Mulholland, he was around back in 2004, It's a long time ago. My parents used to listen to that music, kind of thing, just like my friends can say, oh, my dad used to listen to Led Zeppelin. But I think the music that's real and true can't fade quickly, and it's been 60 years and Robert Johnson music hasn't faded. And I like to think, since I'm influenced by all that my music is meaningful and true too. So hopefully my music 10, 20 years from now will be remembered.